Geralt was born to greatness. He emerged into the world fraying under war, magic, and human fear. His mother, the sorceress Vicenna, left him as a child at Kaer Morn. The stronghold of the Wolf School. He had no knowledge of his father, or why he was bound to this austere fortress. Instead, he carried only a name born of ancient tradition, the law of surprise, a debt bound in fate, not choice. This lack of heritage shaped him. Geralt's life, from the very start, would be defined by what he did, not who he was. At Kaer Morn, Geralt underwent the dreaded trial of grasses. Many boys died. Geralt not only survived, he flourished. Alchemists administered additional experimental mutagens to him, leading to his hauntingly white hair and unusual resilience. They whispered his name in the corridors. The White Wolf. He emerged stronger, faster, resistant to toxins, and almost immune to disease. But his gift was a burden. Long life, dulled emotion, and a body shaped for violence. His heart became contoured by necessity. As a witcher, Geralt became neither hero nor villain, but something more elusive, an instrument. He traversed the northern kingdoms, delivering contracts with silvery blade and judgment unburdened by logic. His steel sword for men, silver for monsters. But he was not a cold machine. In Blaviken, fear dubbed him the Butcher, a reputation born of brutal misunderstanding. And in Cintra, he saved Ciri's life at the cost of bloodshed. He did not seek glory. He walked the path because someone had to. Geralt embodied balance in a world sliding towards chaos. In Cintra, Geralt invoked the law of surprise and unknowingly claimed a child, Ciri, daughter of Pavetta. He thought it a contract, but fate had other plans. Ciri carried elder blood, a genetic legacy of immense power, space, and time itself bent to her very will. When he learned the truth, Geralt returned, not in obligation, but in recognition. He called Ciri and grew into destiny not by design, but through devotion. Geralt brought Ciri to Kaer Morhen, where she trained among witches. He fought to protect her against destiny, against prophecy, against kingdoms and conspiracies. Mages coveted her power. Emperors sought her as a boon. But Geralt became more than her guardian. He became her father. His blood with Ciri was not a contract. It was quiet love built on silent devotion over roaring conflict. Deafening, you might say. Geralt's love for Yennefer was completely different. It was a volatile love in a volatile relationship. Their union was born of a djinn's wish, yet endured through passion, pain, betrayal, and reconciliation. Yennefer was fire to his frost, a sorceress with ambition, independence, and guilt. Together they educated Ciri. Together they stood in courts and battlefields. Their love was not constant peace, but fierce fidelity shaped by destiny and choice. Nilfgaard invaded, kingdoms fell, witches dwindled. Geralt endured. He fought in wars he did not choose. He aided queens and peasants and mages. He saved the innocent amid chaos. He never stopped searching for Ciri, who'd vanished, torn by prophecy, politics, and the wild hunt. Through it all, Geralt walked forward, blade ready, heart resolute. The spectral wild hunted Ciri, hunting elders' blood's power. Geralt pursued across frozen worlds, through reality shifts, toward destiny's edge. He died, was resurrected. He faltered, yet stood firm. He rescued the child and himself from prophecy's iron grip. Through sacrifice and sorrow, he emerged not just alive, but a living legend. Geralt's canonical birth date is 12, making him just 37 years of age in the last wish. By the end of Lady of the Lake, he's 57. In the games, lore diverges. He may even be centuries old. But the meaning is not in years. It is in history he walks through and the truth he carries. That is to say, he is not eternal. He is enduring. The recent prequel novel, Crossroads of Ravens, explores Geralt's adolescence in 1229, just after his first contract kill. It reveals formative moments at Kaer Morhen, shaping his sorrow-scarred soul and forging his future purpose. Through Crossroads of Ravens, we glimpse the boy before the legend, the seed that later becomes the white wolf, rooted in loss, suffering, and resolve. The elder blood that coursed through Ciri's veins was through the descendants of Lara Dorn, an elven sorceress who fused human and magical lineage. The blood carried the power of chaos, time travel, and world-breaking prophecy. The ancients foretold the wolf's blizzard approaches, a seed that will not sprout, but burst into flames. Ciri embodied that seed. Geralt protected it not out of prophecy, but out of choice. Some texts suggest Ciri underwent the trial of grasses by her own choice to remove her fertility and avoid becoming a tool for others. She sought autonomy, but lore theory debates whether she even succeeded, or if her elder blood remained intact regardless. This is where Geralt's legacy intersects, not as fate's instrument, but as her advocate. Whether she lost her power or retained it, her freedom remained his cause. Geralt's legacy is somewhat of a paradox. A mutant created to kill the unnatural who preserved the natural. A fate-bound hunter who chose love over prophecy. He died at times and lost others along the way, always honoured, sometimes feared. But he always endured. Even as his tale ends ambiguously, or perhaps simply continues beyond the page, his impact resonates throughout. The white wolf walks on. Geralt of Rivia is not a myth. He is a covenant between fear and trust, between monster and man, between destiny and defiance. His path reminds us that courage is not born from certainty, but from choice. And as long as tales are told and witchers linger in the margins, the white wolf still walks the path. They say the path is long, that it twists through fear into fire, out the other side where no man remains unchanged. Geralt of Rivia is not just a witcher, he is a myth carved in scars, a wanderer between monsters and men. His story is not linear, it's braided like hair. It continues, but not along a straight path. It intertwines with others, but eventually gets to an end. Geralt was chosen, or rather stolen, depending on who you ask, taken by the law of surprise. It's something colder than one would expect from the story, from the origin story of a hero. Before the world knew him as the White Wolf and called him the Butcher, Geralt tried to stop bloodshed and succeeded only in becoming its author. A tale of utilitarian mercy twisted by rumour into villainy. The first lesson of the game: being right isn't enough. The second lesson of the game is that there's not always a right answer. Merely choosing which poison you want to take. So what makes a monster? Its claws? Its hunger? Or is it ambition and pride? Geralt often spares creatures that others would slay. A bruxa, even a werewolf in pain. In these moments, we see the Witcher is more human than many of the men around him. As mentioned, if Geralt is forged in steel, then Yennefer in fire. Complicated, brilliant, broken, and proud. Their love was not a gentle one. It burnt and flickered like a flame. It healed wounds, and despite all odds endured, she taught him that fate can be fought, but that love can't and needs to be chosen. In the game, this is reflected by your choice. Branching love stories and quests that will decide who your love is. Geralt often says, "I do not choose sides, but neutrality is a choice." He learns through Nilfgaard, through the mages' wars, that standing aside often means letting evil thrive. His arc bends from indifference to intervention. Geralt carries two swords, silver for monsters, steel for men. But he also carries something unseen: judgment, memory, mercy. His voice deep, deliberate, saves as often as his blade strikes. Sometimes the monster dies because he listens. Geralt's world is not his own. He was born in chaos, the conjunction of the spheres. Monsters, elves, humans, and chaos magic collided, and Geralt walks the edge, a man out of time, balancing on the blade between civilization and collapse. Being a witcher is not about mutation. It is about bearing the weight of the world without belonging to it. Geralt walks alone, not because he must, but because someone has to. That is his curse. That is his calling. And somewhere on a cold trail deep in the blue mountains, a white-haired man sharpens a blade beside a dying fire, waiting for the next contract or the next person to protect. Because a witcher does not rest. He simply waits. Remember, if you like these videos, please like and subscribe, as it helps the channel. Good night.